The great subcontinent of India, with 1/5 of the world's population, is primarily the land of villages. So many that it would take 2,000 years to visit them all at the rate of one a day. 90 out of every 100 people in India live in these villages, with their own democratic constitution of untraceable antiquity. The villager rises and beds with the sun and spends his waking hours, whether at work or in idleness, in a manner hallowed by age-long usage. He asks little and gets little, enough food if the seasons are kind, and the comfort of a family. Happy the man whose joys and cares a few paternal acres bound. By that unexacting standard, the villager may be counted happy. He takes pleasure in simple things, the performing bear that thumps its squat feet to earn a meal for its master. By herding, tillage, and industry, they live in a way that has remained almost unchanged for thousands of years. Tradition is its keynote, and simplicity its theme. The old-fashioned village school is a humble institution. Locally, the schoolmaster is a man of influence, but rural education is haphazard and its too few lessons are soon forgotten. To the local medico, whose name carries no high-sounding degrees, the ailing villager comes for treatment and comfort. His cures are simple and traditional, but the patient has infinite faith. Village and handicrafts go together. Many products of rural India have that touch of personality given only by the human hand. An entertainer with his marionettes puts on a show, like the bard of Homeric days or the minstrel in the keeps of medieval Europe, telling stories of India's epic history. Alongside the India of the village is another India, the India of the city and the town. Unlearning the past, reaching out with excited fingers for the promise of tomorrow, this India is falling into line with the go-getting West. In this new India, rivers are spanned by mighty bridges. Mushroom huts give way to the permanence of concrete. Huge business houses charge the dynamo of commerce. Here, experts tackle the many problems of forestry and discover new uses for timber. Many a family has left a rambling bungalow for a streamlined block of flats. Buildings of stone and steel and concrete with lifts and air conditioning plants salute the present. Well-equipped hospitals and clinics are multiplying. In operating theaters like this, medicine is fighting the good fight against disease and pain. Scalpel and test tube are prolonging life as the liberating message of skilled knowledge is broadcast. In Bombay's Hapkin Institute, medical research and diagnostic work go forward unremittingly under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Soke. Plague, typhoid, malaria, snake poison, and many other afflictions of the East are examined and analyzed. Here is a center for the manufacture of vaccines for the whole of India. Harmlessly bottled in this room is enough plague serum to wipe out a continent. The Indian Institute of Science at Bangalore will always be associated with the names of men like Sir CV Raman. It gives the country a lead in the realms of physics and chemistry. Here the physicists and chemists of tomorrow get a training second to none as they revise without ceasing the judgments that make up the incontestable progress of science. Typical of this new India is its rapid industrialization. Its industrial leaders are men like Mr. J. Gandhi, manager of one of the biggest iron and steel concerns in the world. New industries are springing up almost overnight to supply the growing demands of home and foreign consumption. One factory turns out glasses in huge quantities, but on precision machines guided by expert hands. To industry, science offers a helping hand. Industrial research is applying to industry the truths wrested from nature by scientific workers. India is learning that without the aid of the scientist, the wheels of industry creak and jam. For the farmer dawns new hope as agricultural research overtakes the hit and miss methods he has been using for generations. Science is beginning to tap him on the shoulder. At one end of the scale are agricultural colleges. At the other, thousands of village demonstration plots. Intermediate links are the experimental farms where scientific research is translated into field practice. Improved methods of cultivation and manuring are spreading slowly but steadily. Major crops are being bettered, and each year brings new triumphs. As urban populations increase and the growth of vegetables and fruit becomes an expanding industry, there is a more insistent demand that the soil should yield its best. There are 2 head of cattle to every 3 persons in India. For the improvement of the stock, pedigree bulls are reared and bred. At cattle shows, they flaunt their gleaming hulks and behave like prima donnas. Here again, science is helping India's hardest worked animal. To her children belongs India's heritage and future. In the more progressive schools, there is a new outlook. Here is a school run on lines laid down by a world-famous educationist. Here, these children work happily together, as in a well-ordered community of adults. They repeat their exercises with an air of concentration that was once associated only with men of genius. This classroom is in a different world from the archaic village school with its boredom and apathy. Science, industry, and the city are slowly changing the face of India. In Indian factories, in trains and trams, men are learning a new way of life. In the congestion of the cinema, Brahmin and untouchable rub elbows in unexpected fellowship. The gaps are being bridged between that East and that West whose mating Kipling band and another poet, India's own Tagore, has consecrated. The most significant fact of modern days, he said, is this, that the West has met the East.